game or something. And I'm still very early on, so I think that there's a lot of time for it to grow on me a bit more. Valkyria Revolution took quite a few chapters until I really started to maybe love it is a bad word, but I really did love Valkyria Revolution. It's Hardcorp's Uprising. Hardcore Uprising? Hardcorp's? It says Contra game in disguise. I don't know why there's no Contra name on this thing. A friend of mine speculated maybe because it was made by Arc System Works rather than like someone internal to Konami. But then you have like Way Forward who made Contra 4 on DS. And I think that might have been before this. I'd have to check the timeline. I've kind of played through all this at this point. But basically there's two different modes. You can either do like an arcade mode, which is you kind of have like a preset character that you take into it. And you basically just play through the game. And then there's a rising mode, it has more like RPG mechanics. And then so the main two characters is Bahamut and Crystal. And then also I bought the DLC character Sayuri because she's like melee based. And Leviathan, who has grenades, but he's kind of iffy. I think I'm gonna stick with Bahamut for the arcade mode because I think he just has like a decent amount of health. I think he's just like a good all-arounder. This game's really tough. There's also a story here, but I have no idea what's going on half the time. It's just like this paragraph or a few paragraphs if you read it before each mission. I think each character has their own story line you can follow. And so yeah, it's pretty much Contra, but you know, very anime in a way. I don't know if Contra ever really. I think Contra is ridiculous, and I think in the way you would think. I feel like this game might be a bit louder. I might reduce the audio here. I think Contra at some point did get a bit extreme in some of its themes and plots, and like riding missiles and like camels with. I think there's like purple camels that you ride at some point. This game definitely leans into that, but this one does have more like an anime aesthetic. You have two weapon slots in this game, so if I press triangle, I can switch between them. They're in the top left corner there. They both start empty, but then you can pick up two and switch between them. Also, other characters like Leviathan does not have two weapon slots. He just has one weapon slot. When you get hit, you do lose your weapon, like you would expect in like a... Oh boy. Oh, so like that. You lose your weapon. But then it also creates like this interesting dynamic where you can like, if you're expecting to get hit by something, you can switch to the empty slot so you don't lose your weapon. There are some nice movement options, like being able to, oh, there's a one-up. Let me get that. Like being able to lock your aim, so I can basically lock my aim in this direction and move freely, just shoot down if I want to. And then if you hold down R2, you can kind of stick yourself in one spot and like pivot yourself. It took me quite a few tries to get through the first level in this game. I'm obviously being very careful right now, mainly because I don't want to spend our entire time playing this first level, and it would be nice if I beat the level. Also, the voice acting in this game is pretty fantastic. Oh, I forgot to duck. Oops. I forgot what I was saying. There we go. He's like, that was tough. Just very lack of emotion. Oops. There are eventually some interesting movement options and like other skills you have. Like I think in this one, yeah, so I can like reflect people's bullets when they shoot at me. So I'll try to do that next time somebody shoots at me. Maybe not that guy. We'll see if we can find someone with like a slower shot. If anything, on the next level, you'll definitely see me reflecting shots because it's actually very helpful on that level. You can play this game really fast if you want. You can just sit here and dash and just keep running. I try to take it pretty slow. But when I switch over to my other character, like when we go to the Rising mode, I'll definitely show you me like just like blasting through a level because some of the characters, it just like does not matter what you're doing. You can basically get like preset loadouts and stuff in Rising mode, so you can come into levels with weapons. You can level up these weapons so they're so much more effective. Let's pick up this heat gun. This is like a charge gun, so you can like sit here and charge your shot, and it'll burn through certain enemies. There we go. So I deflected that, but I was not particularly aiming. Whoops. At anything for it. In arcade mode, it is helpful. Like if you want to shoot fast in this mode, you do need to press the button a lot. But eventually you can unlock in the Rising mode. Dang it! You can unlock like a an auto fire thing, like a P&O 3 thing. I feel like arcade mode's probably not the best way to play this game unless you're really looking for a challenge. This is the first level, so it's not that challenging. And I've played through this game enough times at this point. There's a lot of replayability between all the characters, I feel like, and if you're playing with somebody, it is 2 players, so you can do 2-player co-op in this, and I think it plays very well that way. I think that's probably the most desirable way to play this game. This gun reminds me a lot of the laser and Gunstar heroes that just like heat sinks onto things. Laser in original Contra is not bad, but not great. I haven't played any Contras outside of the first one and this one. I did get the Super Nintendo Classic, and I forget what's on there. I think it's like Super C, maybe? No, Super C, that's a NES game, right? I don't know what it is. There's like a score ranking at the end of these missions, so you do ideally want to go fast. But, you know, I actually don't like the heat gun very much. It's probably one of my least favorite guns in this game. Ah! It probably makes pretty short work of those things, though. I feel like the characters are pretty goofy in this game. Like, right now you're just kind of seeing how they look, but I think once we get to the boss, you'll kind of see where it goes, assuming I don't die a horrible death. Playing careful in this mode just makes this game seem so much slower than when I'm like with my fully leveled up characters. There are like secret medals and stuff you can collect too, but I really didn't care too much about them. But if you really wanted to go out of your way to do it, all right. So, oh wow, I don't think I've ever let these guys live long enough to do anything to me. All right, we're gonna ride a motorcycle. Okay. I feel like it's a lot of, for the bosses, it's a lot of pattern recognition. Just kind of knowing how to dodge things. Will get you a long way. There's, oh, dang it. Was not paying attention. There's a lot of tight timing on this stuff. So you gotta be pretty, on your toes, which I don't think we'll see as much of it here, but on the next phase of this boss, or this boss is like a 3-phase thing. On the final phase of this boss, it really is pretty close. Yeah, like an air dash too, which is nice. Each character kind of has their own unique movement option, so I think this guy gets like an extra air dash in the air and then an extra jump eventually. And there's a lot of the moments like these where you have to like do something to not die. So I have to jump out of that pit or else I'll just fall to my death.
Super
Also, like, all the bosses in this game that are like robots look like Mega Man bosses for some reason. I think it's just the eyes. The eyes and the mouth, I guess. It just has a very Mega Man look to me for some reason. I feel like the lock aim is probably the most useful out of all these, all the control options. Okay, he's coming out up here. I don't need that health. Ooh, I forgot there's like fireballs that fly out of that. I do think the game looks pretty nice overall, even though it's 3D. There are some little small... Oh, dang it, I keep not paying attention. There are some small technical issues here and there, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. There's some slowdown occasionally. I think I just want to make sure those little guys don't come over here. Almost done. These things drop like power-ups and stuff, but it's just never worth it to get close enough, I feel like. Alright, let's see if I... Oh! Let me see if I can kill these guys. Okay. Aw, dang it. I was so close. Okay. There we go. Okay. So this is pretty silly. Like, you get in this motorcycle, and then that thing, if you weren't paying attention earlier, ate the boss earlier. So then he splits out of his stomach, and then he's chasing you again. It's pretty long. This particular first level, I feel like, is longer than most other levels in this game and a lot of other games. It's a pretty, I think, pretty challenging level early on when it's like your first time playing through, especially in the RPG mode where you won't like be completely leveled up yet. This mode, they at least start you off with some abilities. I need to be tapping to get the most damage out. This mode, they do start you with some like basic abilities and stuff. All right. Ow. Okay. Okay. I'm not gonna get it in time. There we go. All right. I lost 2 lives, but we got there. And then this is the part that always gets me. Okay, I got it. The timing that jump is very hard. I'd probably die there 90% of the time. This game's got a lot of style, I feel like. I'm great. I got a B. So you can go on to the next stage, and I'll probably play a little bit of this stage, then switch over to the Rising mode. And I'll probably switch characters as well. I'll probably play both the DLC characters, because the Crystal and Bahamut are largely the same character. There are some slight differences, but it's pretty small. There's another DLC character, I think named like Harvey or something, or Harry. But he's, as far as I can tell, based off what I looked at, he seems like he's basically the main 2 characters, but with like a lot of health and defense stuff. I messed it up. So the snipers are like the best reflection stuff in this game, I feel like. I might just end up dying on this level anyways, so. You do have to be like facing them, I think, to get it to reflect at them. Oh man. I think that's all poison. Yeah. Oh, dang it. I wanted to reflect that. Pew! Yeah, I think it's one of those games. It's kind of like, you know, playing a shoot 'em up. I feel like where it's like, oh, you want to focus on managing your own character more so than going out of your way to kill things. I mean, there's definitely, you know, a little bit of both of those things. All right, we got a machine gun again. There's definitely some of like, you know, you want to make sure you do damage, but overall, especially in this arcade mode, most importantly, you want to just focus on surviving. Ooh, I didn't even see that thing. It's kind of, you can kill the foliage in this game if you shoot it enough. Okay. I forget how to do this boss. Okay, that's right. He doesn't shoot like a big laser beam. Oh, he does do that though. So yeah, we're probably not making it out of this fight. Ugh. Oh. So yeah, changes in pattern like that. So I don't know if that credit amount is like the default or if I set it to that amount. Some games let you set that in the options, but apparently I have 10 credits. Let's go to Rising mode. So most of my characters, with the exception of Crystal, are almost completely maxed out, if not completely maxed out. I kind of took advantage of an exploit in this game where you can basically farm infinite EXP towards the latter half of the game. Let's start with Leviathan. Onward to glory. Well, I guess we'll change our color too. Oh, dang it. It shows the first level. Let's not play the first level again. Let's back out of this real quick. But yeah, so in Rising mode, it does save your progress. I'm a cheater. It's great. And what's it called mode? It does save your progress. Rising mode. But yeah, I have just like a ridiculous amount of EXP because like on stage 5, you can just sit there and like shoot these cranes that keep coming down, and eventually they do have like a thing that's like, hey, stop doing this, and they'll actually like negate any more points that you can get. But by the time they tell you to stop doing it, you've just built so much EXP it doesn't even matter. Okay, back into Rising mode, and then we'll do Leviathan, and then what's a good stage for Leviathan? I think stage 3 might actually be not terrible. We may not beat this stage, but I'll at least play through a chunk of this. Leviathan's interesting. He only has one weapon slot, and but in his button where you would switch weapons normally, he has grenades. So you can do a couple of things with those. You can just throw grenades regularly. And you have infinite of them, so you don't have to worry about like EXP or ammo or anything. I also leveled up his like machine gun, so I start with a rapid fire machine gun. But as soon as I get hit, I lose it. The other thing he has is this backflip, and it's not very useful. But you can throw grenades while you're doing the backflip, which is also not very useful, but it looks cool. And then he also has a slide, and I think he does damage with that slide. So at this point, because I've leveled up my machine gun, it's probably better to use this than try to throw grenades. So I lost it, but then now I have this grenade launch or this rocket launcher thing, which I feel like the grenades are essentially like a free version of this move at all times. But you can go pretty fast when you're doing this. Oops. Also, my battery's dying. I think we'll probably be fine. See? Yeah, that actually worked out pretty well. This whole level is kind of about traps and stuff. Ah! I leveled up my HP too. Normally this guy has 1 HP. So he's pretty like I feel like he's probably the closest thing you're going to get to hard mode in this game in terms of characters. Oh. The upgraded heat gun's actually pretty cool because it actually keeps shooting while you're charging. So it feels a lot more useful. than if you're just charging it. You also climb in walls and climb on ceilings as well. So there's a lot of like moments here where you have to like crawl up. If you're playing co-op though, it's very easy to kill each other on accident. Okay. 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 Ooh. Give me that machine gun. Okay, I got life max. There's a lot of mid bosses in this game. Again, another Mega Man looking boss to me. He doesn't have the eyes, but I never know if like using grenades or shooting is probably better, although eventually getting the distance is probably the better choice. Oh, whoops, I slid into him on accident. Ah! That's the problem with like staying on that bottom platform, is you can get knocked down. There are times like this where like you just kind of want to jump and then you just get stuck on top of this thing and you don't really mean to. There's a couple boss fights where that's a problem, but most of the time it's not really. Oh, oh, I'm dead.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. I do think the grenades do more damage than your basic attack, but just I think normally when you have like the normal basic attack, the grenades are a lot more effective. Where I feel like in this mode, it's probably less so. Whoops. Down. Ooh, ooh. Alright. But yeah, a lot of time when I'm playing this game, I'm just doing this. And it's not as effective with Leviathan. I say it's not very effective. There's certain characters that it's more effective with, and specifically certain weapons. Oops. Oopsie. Oh, I should have got up there. Dang it. So, like, I think one of those medals are up there, but actually I'm not going to bother with it because I failed to get up there the first time. Oh! Give me this. Oh! I want to get up and turn around, but I don't know how fast it shoots. There it goes. There's like a combo meter in the top left if you keep shooting stuff. That's really how you build the XP. Oh, I fell on the spikes. Impossible. There's a lot of like little missions like this where you're like riding around on rafts or even flying sometimes. Let's actually back out of this. I do want to show Sayuri. I feel like that's enough Leviathan. I think Leviathan might be my favorite character, but he just feels kind of underutilized if you're using like upgraded weapons and stuff. But I think if you focus on like leveling up HP with him, he probably is a good choice. Dang it, I selected Desert again. That's what I get for trying to press X through the menus a bunch. So Sayuri's kind of crazy. Even when you don't level up Sayuri, she's ridiculously powerful. To a disgusting degree that feels incredibly not built for the game. Okay, let me not press anything. Press it once. Okay, choose level. What would be a good level to show off how stupid she is? I don't know if Capitol Highway really has a lot. Laboratory, maybe? Railway. I don't like railway. Railway, you ride on like trains and stuff. We'll do laboratory. This is where like the grind exploit is. There's like these cranes that come down. We'll see if we get there. Also, all that text in the bottom left-hand corner that's scrolling is complete garbage. You can see how clearly what it is, and it's like just a bunch of like J or GD, JK, DOI, ISD, LEG. It's silly to see. So Sayuri is a melee-based character, but she has the ability to charge and throw a slice. That charge is originally... Oh yeah, this mission's like supposed to be a stealth mission, but we're not going to stealth at all. But she basically can just sit here and slice all day, and she's very powerful. She pretty much kills most of the normal people in one hit. You can do kind of like a juggle thing and do that, but it's not very useful. I gotta wait for this alarm to stop going off for that. Okay. Whoops. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Well, I'm dead. I'm very careless when I play this game, typically. Especially with Sayuri, because she just can just go. Also, I have 30 lives. So there's no real concern about, like, losing... Oops. Okay. Yeah. So the grinding area is actually right down here. You can basically, like, let me see. You can basically, like, stand right here and just do this over and over again. And it's even easier when you, like, have auto fire on somebody. Although Sayuri kills stuff so fast, it's actually very effective. And you get to sit there and build your combo, and you basically do this for like 30 minutes, and then you can max out all your characters. But they have to have access to stage 5, so you do have to get to stage 5 first, or if you're playing co-op, one of the players has to have access to stage 5 with that character specifically. Oops. I want to get to a boss. This is actually a great boss to show off how broken Sayuri is. So we're just gonna burn the heck through this thing. I think we're past his first phase already. Okay. Okay, the boss is dead. That's pretty much every boss fight in this game with Sayuri, is just sit there and, like, even if you're manually slicing over and over again, it is very effective. She will just reset her slice almost immediately, and you can just tear through everything. Like, every boss in the game is trivial with her. But she's like a nice extra character. But I would say she's probably a very easy mode. I don't know if that was intentional, but it's very much the case. Obviously, you can die a bunch from, you know, getting knocked down and falling off cliffs. I have a ridiculous number of lives here and also have beaten this game already. So do not care about, like, conserving anything. So I'm just kind of going. But this is also kind of the fun way to play Sayuri, I feel like, of just go. I think you may have to beat the game to unlock 30 lives. I think until that point you can do 20 lives. Obviously 30 lives being like a reference to Contra. But each mission kind of has its own gimmick. So in this one there's an escort mission, which is about as fun as it sounds. You just want to make sure he doesn't die. It's going to be a bit harder with Sayuri because she needs to move around. Although I could just do this. you gotta be careful, like, stuff like that exploding on him. He has a little trouble with stairs. Okay. But he eventually can make it. It just takes him a little time. Hey! I guess that's kind of it. Contra Hardcore is a pretty cool Contra-style game, I feel like, and it feels very modern in a way, in a lot of ways. And there haven't really been that many Contra games. Admittedly, this game's like 2010, so it's been like 8 years. I think this might be the boss, so maybe we'll finish out on the boss here. Oh, give me the thing that doesn't matter to me. I do get points for getting those weapon drops, but yeah, I felt like this was like a pretty good way for the series to kind of end, even though it wasn't really intentional. But hey, you know, Konami these days, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do some kind of revival with Contra. Okay, he's gone. Ow. If I was dodging better, I'd hit so much more. Okay. I think he doesn't come down, so I have to do this. But, I mean, this is a fully upgraded character, but playing that playing this character even without the upgrades, I feel like is just as broken. It's not as fast, but it is still really freaking fast. Yeah, it's like a Majin Buu baby thing. I think the boss designs in this game are pretty alright too. I'm gonna do... Oh, I got an S. The True Warrior. Didn't use any of my actual skills. The only skill you need is sword. So yeah, I guess that's it. I think there's a bug at the end of this game where if you beat it the second time, the ending cutscene freezes. But the ending cutscene is the same no matter the character, so it's a silly thing. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming. There will be Lost Dimensions next week. I have a podcast going up about the Wii that I already recorded for the weekend. And I'll be in Portland Retro Game Expo doing those Portland things in Expo. Won't be there very long. Very short trip. Made very tight timing on my trip. I probably shouldn't have, but it's too late. The plane tickets are bought, so that's how it go. But yeah, Lup Salad article out this week too. It's a Sayonara Umihara Kawase and Lup Salad article. That's up on the website this week. And then hopefully Monday, I'll have Monday off, so maybe I can take some time Monday to kind of wrap up another article or something. Still working on the Mighty Number 9 video. And I'm getting the urge to pursue Team Innocent again maybe soon. But I want to finish up Mighty Number 9 video before I do that, which means I probably won't get around to it by the time this urge goes away. But maybe I'll start scripting it out, start seeing what I can do with it. Yeah. Thanks for coming. We'll try to do Lost Dimensions next week, see who the new traitor is, see if it actually is Yoko or if it's someone else. I feel like if they're going to keep doing that thing where it's like, oh, let's just all lay on top of Yoko and make sure she's the traitor, or whoever one person is, it might be worth just spending the point and checking in to see if that person's the traitor from the beginning, so I can sit there and try to divert votes as soon as I know they're not the traitor. I feel like that might be the best option, but then I do run into the issue of possibly running out of points for when I do need to narrow down who's the traitor or not. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do like 2 or 3 missions, and if I can already narrow down Yoko